G'day everyone. I've got to make a few changes to the way I do things on my social media. There's change in the wind. My channel has grown really well, which has just been fantastic, but I have become overwhelmed. You may have noticed a few less videos popping up recently. I need to change the way I do a few things. There's only a few small changes, not a lot, but stay tuned and I'll explain exactly what is happening here at the Robbie Fishing channel. Rightio folks, there are a few changes happening to my Robbie Fishing brand, I suppose you could call it. Nothing too serious, most people won't be affected. YouTube, nothing is changing. I'm still going to be uploading videos, I'm still going to be replying to videos, the same sort of videos, there's no change. So if you only subscribed on YouTube, you won't notice any changes to anything that I'm doing. My YouTube channel has grown quite a lot just recently. When I was at 5,000 subscribers, it was much easier to keep up with everything, but as it's gotten bigger and bigger, it's getting harder and harder to keep up. Possibly the only change you'll see is I'm probably going to find it harder to reply to all of the wonderful comments that you guys leave me. I see them, I appreciate them, but as the channel continues to grow, thanks to you guys, it's going to be harder for me to keep up with the replies. That's probably the only change you're going to see. So, you know, everything's pretty good here on YouTube. I'm going to continue to be uploading videos the way I always have, because I love it. Facebook. This is where the biggest changes are happening. At the moment, I've got a Facebook page called Robbie Alexander Photography and Fishing, and I've got messages turned off. I've got a Facebook account, Robbie Alexander, where a while back there, a few months ago, I reached the threshold for the maximum number of friends, which is 5,000, and I am getting just absolutely just pummeled with messages day after day. I've made quite a few videos just mentioning to people that it's hard to keep up, but they just keep flooding in, and it's got to the point I'm getting in trouble. I won't say abused. I'm getting abused, but not yelled at and screamed, just negative comments from people for not replying. So I've got to make a few changes there. We'll go into that shortly. Instagram, not much is changing, but the message system will be changing there as well. Now, basically what I'm going to be doing, I am deactivating my Robbie Alexander account on Facebook. I thank you all very, very much for adding me as a friend and for wanting to follow me, but I really need to take a backward step on some of my social platforms in order for me to spend less time with my phone in my hand like this and more time looking after my health and spending time with my beautiful kids. So I am deactivating my Robbie Alexander account. This is quite a big risk for me because it does drive quite a lot of traffic to my YouTube channel, but it's just too much. It's gotten too much. I am replacing that with a Patreon account. Now, before you all get annoyed and get angry with me, just let me explain. For those that don't know what Patreon is another social media platform, but it's like a pay-to-access, pay-per-view, where it's popular with a lot of creators, particularly YouTube creators, where we can create a platform and people have to pay to connect with us. I'm not going to be charging people much. I'll tell you in a second. It's up to the individual creators to set the price of which they charge for people. And then there's tiers. A lot of the more popular creators have a $1 tier where you can just be a part of their platform. Then there might be a $3 tier where you get a newsletter once a month. Then there might be a $10 tier where you can be part of a Q&A. Then there might be a $50 tier where they get a phone call once a month and blah, blah, blah. I have created a Patreon page called Robbie Fishing. I only have one tier, and that's a $3 tier. You pay $3 per month to be a member of the Robbie Fishing community on Patreon. And then I can reply to people's messages. People can access me. They can say, hey, Robbie, what's the river like? And I can answer them and let them know. And they can say, what's a good line for a good lure? And what's the best colour lure? And what's the best this? And I can help you guys out. Because at the moment, I kid you not, as I sit here, I've got 29 messages sitting on Facebook. I've got 19 sitting on Instagram. That's almost 60 messages. Twice this week I've been abused for not replying to messages. I just can't do it anymore. So I got one the other day, a young kid messaged me and I accidentally bumped the message and opened it, which means that he could then see that I'd read it. And then not long after I got a message that says, no reply. Okay. And then somebody else said, I can't believe, I hadn't even opened this message. I can't believe you didn't reply. I thought you were better than that. I'm going to tell you something, I am better than that because I've got kids and a good father puts his own kids first. And I was spending time sitting on the floor playing with my kids, my own kids, not messaging people I don't know and helping them with advice that they can get from their tackle stores. I'm sorry if I sound a bit annoyed with that message. It really grates my cheese. So the theory is, if I set up this Patreon account, $3 a month, I'm going to cut right back how many messages I reply to and how much time that I spend replying to messages, and I'm going to be remunerated or paid a small amount for the work that I do because it is work. So at the moment, I'm spending 4 to 6, sometimes more hours per week replying to everybody's message, and I get nothing. Now I might spend half an hour to 1 hour replying to people, and I might earn 30 or 40 bucks a month for doing it. So less work, a bit of pay, as opposed to a stack of work, no pay, and a little bit of abuse as a side serve. So I really hope you understand. Now, to anybody that's upset with that, 4 to 6 hours a week replying to messages and not getting anything for it, let me just put this to you. Just ask yourself before you get annoyed. This week, this Friday, when you knock off work after working hard all week, why don't you stay back for 4 to 6 hours for free for your boss and just work for nothing? You probably want to go fishing. You probably want to go and spend time with your kids. You might want to go home and have a beer, but you can't because you've got to spend 4 to 6 hours replying to messages and getting nothing for it. So that's why I've created the Patreon account. I'm not doing it to become rich and famous. Well, I've got to tell you, I'm a carer. You know, I've got 2 people in my family now that I care for, and I'm not a rich man. One day I will add tiers to my Patreon and I might earn a little bit more money for it. But at the moment, it's more about just trying to reduce the overwhelmness, hone in or rein in some of the messages so that there's not so many, and be able to give better quality content to the people that are the patrons, the people that are paying to access my Patreon. Now, I understand that not everybody can become a Patreon. I understand not everybody can pay and join. Some people don't have access to PayPal or credit cards or anything like that, and I get that. I really do get that. Don't stress. I'm not going to hold it against anybody if they don't become patrons. I do not expect anybody to just dish out $3 a month and become a Patreon. All I ask is that you understand if I don't reply to your messages. Okay? What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be deactivating my Robbie Alexander account. I'm going to be reactivating messages on my Robbie Alexander photography and fishing account, so you can message there again. But I'm going to have it set to an automated reply that says either join Patreon, pay $3 a month and I can answer your questions, or contact your local tackle store. I'm not going to hold it against you at all if you contact your tackle store. In fact, I'm going to be appreciative because it's going to free up a little bit of my time because I want to spend more time with my kids, and I also need to work on my health. I don't go for walks anymore. I don't have time. I'm too busy to go for a long walk. As the weather starts to cool in the next month or two, I want to start finding more time to go on more walks and try and just get a little bit healthier again, because I'm getting old and I'm still fat. So I'm on track. I'm on a collision course, basically. I need to focus on my health. I really hope you guys understand. So $3 a month to join my Patreon. You can share your photos with me, share your fish with me. You can ask questions. I will answer them on there. To people that aren't patrons, I won't be answering questions at all anymore, because that would be doing an injustice to the people that are paying if I give the same information away for free. So I just can't do that. So I've got to draw a line, almost have a policy, bang, I'm not replying to Facebook or Instagram messages anymore. I apologise if this has upset anybody, but I really hope that you understand. I went to Melbourne yesterday with my kids. We went down the beach, we went to St Kilda, we had a swim, we had so much fun, and I ignored messages all day because I just wanted to focus on my kids. And I tell you now, if I had $1 for every time I heard my daughters, particularly Holly, say, "Dad, can you come and play with me?" And I'm like, you know, "Hang on a minute, darling. Hang on a minute, sweetie. I'll be there in a minute. Hang on, I'll be there in a minute." You know, an hour's gone by and I haven't spent the time with her. That has to change because they're only kids once. They're only kids once. So folks, check out Robbie Fishing on Patreon. $3 a month if you want to join and have access to me. To everybody else that can't join, I do apologise. If this offends anybody, well then the problem's all yours. That means you're not very understanding as far as I'm concerned. But I am going to read something out to you now. This was a quote that I saw during the week from the biggest YouTuber in the world, PewDiePie. Rightio. PewDiePie has said, "When you're blessed with many opportunities, it's hard to say no, and you can easily find yourself with too many obligations to keep up." When you are blessed, note the word blessed. When you are blessed with many opportunities, it's hard to say no, and you can easily find yourself with too many obligations to keep up. And that's a trap that I've fallen into in the past, where I say yes to too many things, and all of a sudden I've got too many obligations. I've got events to attend, speeches to make it, you know, whether it's fishing clubs, whether it's government events, whether it's schools. I've got too many obligations, and I find myself burnt out. And in the process of meeting these obligations, I'm also trying to reply to all these messages, and I am just crazy busy, and I'm not getting any money for it. But note the word blessed. When we are blessed, because it is a blessing. I am blessed to have so many people reaching out to me. That is a good thing, and I thank you all very, very much for seeing me as somebody that you can reach out to, and seeing me as somebody that you can call upon for help and support, and having faith in my advice that it's going to be good advice when I answer your questions. I thank you all for blessing me in that regard, but the biggest blessing you guys can give me is to understand that it is super busy to be me at the moment with the amount of inboxes and messages that are coming in. And I ask you to bless me by understanding why I've started a Patreon account and why I'm not going to be answering social media messages anymore. Because I tell you what, my kids are very lucky to have a dad like me, and I'm even luckier to have daughters like them. And I want to spend as much time with them as I can before they turn into teenage rebels. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Check out Robbie Fishing on Patreon. And the next video will be a fishing video, I hope. Hey, check this out. I've just sat back down. I've just got up and started packing up, and a message has come through on my phone. I kid you not, straight after I filmed that video. Hi Daddy, where are you? Daddy, where did you go? Daddy, I miss you. Daddy, come home. Then I've just got all these crazy words that don't even make English. Holly wants me, and I tell you what, I am so lucky. I was spending time with a man just recently whose kids don't have anything to do with him. Hopefully that changes for him. He's a really nice guy, and if you happen to be watching, I'm thinking of you, mate. You know who you are. But I don't have that problem, and I'm going to make sure that I never have that problem. And to make sure I never have that problem is to actually spend time with my kids. How cool is that? Right on cue.